Hello, everyone, and welcome to the IAS European podcast for the Defunct game studios we think should return. I'm Bane, and I'm going to introduce everyone down the line. All right, we got Renegade Operative.
Bane, say what I said in the chat.
I want Pro Jared's ex-wife. Yes.
there we go.
I would give my middle nut in a heartbeat.
Oh my fucking god.
Monetized.
Well, I knew it was gonna happen already, but what's going on, people?
Hang on, you wanted monetization of this video?
No. That's never happening because we're gonna say so much random shit that is hilarious, so it's not even gonna matter. Anyway, what's going on, people? Hopefully you're having a great one. Let's have a good podcast.
Alright, we got my boy Sonic Kick here.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm packing kind of ish. Slowly.
We got Drillbit.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
We got Cryo. What? You cut out there.
That's a good start.
Did he say fuckers, titties? I don't know.
I heard.
I would make a very bad joke, but I'm not going to.
Cryo, you're having an issue here. Yeah, reconnect, please.
Cryo, you sound like you're gargling robotic cock.
I was gonna say that sounds like Holly gobbling on Pro Jared right now, but
Oh no! Why, Renegade? Why?
I said stuff, fuckers.
You're having issues with your internet. It's there. All right, and then we got Sasuke, the slowpoke.
Hey, what's good? I want Pandemic back, really bad.
We'll get into that. Rin, would you like to go first?
Sure, why not? Okay, so my list is going to be equivalent to 5 studios here. I tried to pick out the non-popular ones, but maybe they will be elaborated on. So my first one is LucasArts. I think they should come back. They made very exceptional Star Wars games, something that EA is really not doing until Jedi Fallen Order. My second one is going to be Zipper Interactive. I really did love the old SOCOM games before they fucked everything up with Confrontation and SOCOM 4.
Wait, I thought it was made in-house by Sony.
It is, but Zipper Interactive is the developers that worked on those games.
I liked SOCOM 4 to an extent, but it was a lower tier SOCOM game.
Probably the peak of the series, if I had to be honest.
Dude, 3 was fun. Even though 3 is, some people say it's not as fun as 2, it was fun as fuck. Especially being in tanks and like shooting shit up. My third choice would be Neversoft. They made the Tony Hawk games, which were absolutely great until they fucked those up later on with, what is it? Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. I don't even think they did that game, to be honest.
No, Pro Skater 5 was Robomoto.
Yeah, they fucked it up. They shouldn't have handed it off to that studio. Also, Andrew?
The main reason that game took like why it was so fucking broken is because they had a like deadline to get it out by.
Oh, so they rushed it. I see.
Yeah.
The thing is that they didn't even have the game on the disc. They just patched it in.
Yeah, it was so close to a deadline. They literally just put the training mode on the disc. And the patch is literally the rest of the game because they didn't have a finish in time to like ship discs out.
I think Neversoft also did the Spider-Man PS1 game, and that was pretty great for something different. And apparently they worked on some. What does Activision own? Like Rock Band, Guitar Hero?
They own Guitar Hero. At first, EA published Rock Band, and then the creators of Rock Band own it now themselves. It's weird.
Neversoft started working on that as well, so they have a pretty extensive track record, and they got gobbled up by the Call of Duty boys. They
not even.
They ported the worst one.
Oh yeah,
Renegade. You're not even gonna acknowledge Spider-Man from Neversoft.
I just did.
Just did, Slowpoke.
I didn't hear you.
Jesus fuck.
Spider-Man.
And I thought Sasuke was supposed to be the slow one here.
No,
I knew that was coming. Let's see who else. Capcom Vancouver, even though they
Look, they
fucked up.
only made one bad game.
Look, they really fucked up with Dead Rising 4,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna lie.
Dead Rising 4 was such a bad game.
I mean, 2 and parts of 3 were fun. You know.
Well, 2 at least had Inafune and the other Japanese devs supervising.
I know. Off the record was great. Off the record was pretty great.
Yeah, off the record.
Inafune became a hack though.
He did, but I do like the fact that when it came to him doing the whole westernization thing, he did say that he wanted Dead Rising, to become this, to have more Western devs work on it, and they did do a good job there. DMC, not so much, but Dead Rising, it kind of worked for a while before things just got screwed up in the future.
DMC was a very misguided westernization. It was like,
oh yes,
why?
It's like, we're gonna have Ninja Theory do it, and they worked on Heavenly Sword, and I didn't like that game too much at all.
Heavenly Sword was God of War in the meantime of God of War.
Also, if I have a lot of background noise, forgive me.
You're fine. But yeah, it was God of War until God of War 3 came out, and then I'll say it's the better God of War than God of War 2018.
And
it's fact. That is fact.
Also,
A lot of people would disagree with that, but
well, yeah. But how many of those people actually like that game have played the original God of Wars?
I will say they are better from a gameplay perspective, but it's not like absolute garbage. But I will say that Heavenly Sword is worse. It's like, man, they had shit in that game that didn't even make sense with the 6-axis, dude.
Yeah,
the 6-axis was an adorable idea.
I mean, it's a neat proof of concept, but yeah, it kind of ruined. It was ruined by its execution.
Yeah.
And Renegade. Well, is that all you had, Renegade?
No, I was gonna say the last one is Rockstar Vienna. Now, they didn't do much in terms of the games they worked on. They did do Max Payne 2. And I would figure that I think they probably at least published that game, and they were doing like Manhunt 2, and I kind of wanted to see their vision on that game before they handed it over to Rockstar London. But yeah, it kind of got borked in the process, and seeing any studio get cut from Rockstar, it's obviously a big deal. I kind of wanted to see what they would do in the future for titles, because they were working on like shooters and stealth games, and maybe they could have made something that was a great stealth game. Maybe they could have made Agent, because that's never coming out as far as I'm concerned.
Agent's still coming to PS3, guys.
Oh yeah, I remember I said it was.
I'll buy it on day one if it still comes out for PS3.
Literally who?
PS3. We're like almost on the next generation of consoles.
I swear, if it comes out on PS3, I'll just emulate it. There's PS3 emulation now, folks.
There is on PC, yeah. So that's my list. 5 studios, some obscure that some people might not know about, and others, obviously, they got the shaft.
I'll go next if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Yeah, obviously, well, the first one's obvious, but I'd really want Midway to come back, mainly because they had a lot more variety in terms of games, at least compared to NRS now. I mean, you saw them make stuff like Smash TV, and there was Mortal Kombat, there was the NFL Blitz games, which are really fun. And also, I know they also made a couple other sports titles as well.
Man, they ain't
Hydro Thunder, that was really fun.
They're all in NetherRealm working on Mortal Kombat anyways.
I mean,
Hold on, guys.
Just look at Deception in terms of content compared to 11. I mean, we had the fucking puzzle mode.
So much more. So much more.
I mean, you guys. I mean, what games did you guys enjoy from Midway?
Smash TV was probably the best game they ever made, but I don't know. I didn't really have too much for Midway.
Yeah. Well, they also were publishers for a while, and they did publish a couple JRPGs like Shadow Hearts. Those were really good.
Oh yeah. All right.
But And also the second one for me would probably be Silicon Knights. Anyone remember them?
Yeah, I remember Two Human.
Also, well, they did make they worked with
Legacy of
Nintendo.
Kain, and
They made MGS Twin Snakes.
They also worked with Nintendo to make Eternal Darkness, which is probably one of the best horror games on the platform.
Twin Snakes is really divisive, in my opinion. Like, part of me likes that game, and the other part really doesn't.
I don't know.
Because
the controls are way better.
The controls are better, the gameplay is better, but the music is terrible, and the voice performance is not as good as MGS1.
Well, the thing is that I think David Hayter had to actually get a pay cut to get a lot of the cast back.
Yeah, he took that pay cut, but they did not deliver on performance because it's not as good as the first one.
For some reason, Mei Ling drops her accent in the remake, which is very jarring.
Also, the bosses are kind of easier because of the whole, let's put MGS2 gameplay in Metal Gear Solid 1.
The problem,
Ocelot is a joke.
The problem is that the bosses and layout is exactly the same, and the mechanics weren't made with MGS2 in mind, so some parts can be easily broken.
Yeah, that design suffers by implementing MGS2 into MGS1.
Yeah. It's a shame because I think Silicon Knights actually wanted to make another Eternal Darkness on the Wii, but then X-Men Destiny happened and they went kaput.
Yep.
What's funny is that I think they got sued by Marvel or Activision where they had to destroy all remaining copies of X-Men Destiny.
Holy fuck, they got Thanos early.
It was X-Men Destiny. It was X-Men Destiny and Two Human.
It was X-Men Destiny and 2. Personally, I wouldn't want Silicon Knights to return, because that's just me. Especially because Dennis Dyack is kind of a weird boy, and if he returned, who knows what other shit he'd try to do. To undo.
Aside from him, I'd at least want him to come back to try to make another Eternal Darkness.
To be fair, Dennis Dyack is still in the industry, and he's at the very least not, Randy Pitchford.
Also, Drill, before you finish, since Cryo has to go in 10 to 15 minutes, can he do his list real quick?
Yeah, that's cool with me.
All right, go ahead, Cryo.
It's only a couple. THQ, the original THQ, Midway, and LucasArts, because LucasArts stick out in my brain because of the Star Wars games. Because a lot of the good Star Wars games came from LucasArts, and then LucasArts got shut down, and it's like, well, damn. And with Midway, I loved a couple of the Mortal Kombat games that they came out with.
They came out with a lot, actually. They had so many IPs, The Suffering, everything, dude.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and with THQ, I like The Punisher. The Punisher was a pretty good game.
The Punisher was awesome, dude. I love the executions and shit. It was amazing. You can take a guy's head and slam it inside of a drill or saw him in half. But the only thing I didn't like about that game is you got punished. You got a point deduction for killing people like that.
Yeah, and one other thing that I didn't really like about The Punisher is the fact that it ended. That there was an ending to the game. I wanted endless gameplay.
I want endless titties in a strip club too, so.
But yeah, that's all from me. God
damn it. So, alright, Cryo, we're gonna let you go because you have to watch Detective Pikachu. So
yeah.
we're gonna let you do your we're gonna let you do your outros and let Drill continue.
Alright, if you want to follow me, I have a Twitter. My Twitter handle is Cryo Gaming. Same with my YouTube handle, and my Twitch is the same. Just add YT to the end. So right. I'll catch you guys in the next podcast.
All right. See you later, dude. Drill continues, sir.
Like I was saying, the third one might be a bit. It might be a kind of obscure, but I'd really want Renegade Kid to come back.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that was
what?
Renegade Kid.
I have no children.
Right.
I never impregnated anyone.
But basically, they made 2 horror games on the DS called Dimension. They were actually pretty cool for the system. Funny enough is that they actually were proposed as Silent Hill games, but Konami turned them down.
I cannot believe there's a studio named Renegade Kid.
Yep, more you know.
Hold on, wait. I don't have a kid. I've never unwillingly went out of my way to create Renegade's Kid and inject my sperm into some vessel without my approval. So what is this Renegade Kid, Gabe? I have no fucking idea what it is.
This is nuts.
But yeah, for the size of their studio, they did actually make some pretty impressive games, especially considering the
Hold on, wait a minute. I think THQ, like, really quick, I just want to say they deserve all the love and passion for making all these cool games. And I want to say, like, I thought they were an incredible studio. A lot of cool SmackDown versus Raw games, etc. They had so many offshoot franchises as well, like Darksiders, Saints Row, and Red Faction. Red Faction was fun for what it was. It needs to be brought up that didn't Del Toro make like some games for THQ, or didn't he own his own studio? What's the story behind that? It's not really too clear to me on that one.
He did like 3 of them.
They were trying to make a game called Insane, and then Silent Hills unfortunately never happened.
That Castlevania HD though.
A remake of games can't get me fucking excited for anything. They can eat my ass.
I mean, it is Bloodline, so I'm probably gonna buy it.
Look, we fucking know that the CEO of Konami just looked at Kojima and he was like a Fury from DMC5. He was like, I'm about to end this man's whole career.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
I've played what Castlevanias I want to play until they make a new one.
So you like Lords of Shadow 1?
I liked Lords of Shadow 1. I thought it was a fun enough game.
How did you feel about Lords of Shadow 2 then?
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah, that definitely was a harrowing experience. That definitely was a video game. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 being received like ass. Anyway, Drillbit, you done with number 2?
Well, that was number 3. Number 4 was Factor 5. They were with Nintendo for a while, and they made a number of titles, including I think it was Rogue Squadron on N64 and GameCube. Those were really fun. Actually, Rogue Squadron. Huh?
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say Rogue Squadron 2 was actually a launch title for the GameCube. And it was probably one of the better Star Wars games to come out that gen.
You know, they decided to make a PS3 game, which is basically what killed them.
They made Lair.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah,
that was literally the last fucking game they ever made.
I think that Factor. I'm looking online. Factor 5 under and had announced the company had returned and reacquired the rights to the Turrican franchise. So apparently they're back, kind of, not really.
I mean, they really shouldn't have made a game for PS3.
Apparently they were going to work on a Superman game.
Yep.
They were working. Yep, they were on Superman. Kid Icarus. They were doing a Pilot Wings game at one point.
Rogue Squadron for Wii. Ooh, that was completed, but it never came out.
Jesus, that would have actually made me like Wii.
Yeah.
God, but the PS3 killed off a lot of fucking developers.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because we really do need LucasArts back, because at least then they at least allowed other devs to work on Star Wars games, and that's how we got Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, it sucks because I have to agree, even though I really like PlayStation, Sony really likes to cut the fat often if they're not seeing a return on certain developmental studios that aren't doing much when they regulate them to like the iToy, iPad, SingStar. A lot of studios get accumulated within the Sony brand and they work on absolute garbage and they wonder why this stuff is not selling. They had to work on like PlayStation Move games and that never really went anywhere in regards to the audience. I think also Xbox, they had Kinect Vaporware. So some studios just get axed and it sucks when anyone cuts the fat when they could have done something intriguing with those studios. I think if you want that better example, then look at what EA does when they killed all their previous studios like Westwood, etc. They have killed a lot of people off. They're in the fucking ground. Their nuts are buried deep underground.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, they cut the fat even when you're doing well too with EA. I've got a couple things to bring up with them.
Well, there is one more studio, Clover Studios. They used, you know,
essentially they're back though.
I mean, they're not
Platinum and like Tango Gameworks.
I mean, it's still not the same because we had games like God Hand and Okami from them. Also, Beautiful Joe. I know there was a couple others they worked on.
I think the issue with Clover was that they died before they were even born, right? Because they had God Hand, Okami, and Beautiful Joe, but they didn't really reach their full potential. I think they made more titles as Platinum Games than they did for Clover Studios. I know we talked about our experience with Clover Studios before in a podcast and how we want them back, but yeah, a lot of people might not know their games because they really didn't make many under that brand. So yeah, Platinum is definitely more known and Platinum has like more hits and misses than anything else. Also, Tango Gameworks was cool with Shinji Mikami and them doing Evil Within. I think the first one is not so great, and I think the second one was actually a good game that you should play. And I want to see more talent come from that studio because they do have those ex-Capcom developers and directors that were present there.
From what I understood, apparently, I know it's a rumor, but I've heard Capcom wanted them out because they weren't making enough money. So, yeah, it's a shame too because Beautiful Joe 1 and 2 are really great games. Same with Okami. But that's pretty much my 5 studios.
Okay, I'm gonna rapid fire these ones. So I think the most depressing one for a lot of people, myself included, Pandemic Studios.
Yes.
Seriously, they made some of the best Star Wars games, Mercenaries, Destroy All Humans, the good ones, not the later ones. And then, after the Saboteur,
I still actually need to play the Saboteur.
The Saboteur is really good. And it fucking killed the company.
Yo, I swear, wasn't the Saboteur that game where it was being published by EA? I remember there was a documentary on this somewhere that EA actually bought Pandemic Studios and they were making the Saboteur, and the Saboteur was supposedly their pet project, their passion project that they poured a lot of money into, that they poured a lot of investment into. I believe they also worked on Mercenaries 2, and that didn't really pan out too well, Mercenaries 2 World in Flames. So they made the Saboteur, and this was going to be their big comeback. And it was a great game. A lot of people said they really did enjoy the Saboteur so much. The fact that you can jump out of cars, you can punch bitches, you can shoot bitches, you can be in planes, blimps, whatever the fuck is going on in the black and white territory of the past. You could do that shit. And then EA, they came in with the foot shot. They swiped left like a premium tender whore. They said, this game is not good enough. We're gonna put you back on the shelf. You're going to stay there where you belong because we're not getting enough cash. We're not getting enough dinero. We're not getting the yee, son. It is absolutely crazy that they shelved Pandemic. The alien from Destroy All Humans is lonely. He's tired of his head looking like a deflated ball sack. He needs more love, fam, in the video game lineage of history, and they need to bring back Pandemic ASAP.
Yeah. Foot shooting.
The biggest problem is, like, they put a lot of effort into making the PS3 version work. And apparently that cost a lot of money for them. They got AA working on it, which, if you know anything about the PlayStation 3, anti-aliasing was hardly a thing in 90% of the fucking games.
Wasn't Pandemic working on a couple other games before they
were
working?
Yeah, they were working on a Batman game, apparently, at one point.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, they were working on a movie tie-in version to The Dark Knight. They already made like a Batman game on the PS2 with Batman Begins, so that would have been the sequel they were working on, but they couldn't get that fucking project finished, so they just decided to scrap it entirely because it didn't coincide with the movie.
I thought it was Gotham by Gaslight, or am I thinking?
No, that was a different studio.
They were working on a Mercenaries 3 at that point in time. They were also working on a Battlefront 3.
No, that's incorrect. I think the people working on Star Wars Battlefront 3 was Free Radical. It wasn't Pandemic during that moment.
Yeah, Battlefront 3 was the guys who made yes, Time Splitters.
Okay. I thought it was Pandemic.
You can find footage of it, and it looks so fucking good. It could have been great.
The sad thing is that even though it wasn't finished, it had a lot more content than the first Battlefront. The one that EA gave us.
EA Battlefront, we don't talk about.
You know, that's why it sucks, man. EA's Battlefront, it feels like a cheap imitation of the original 2 Pandemic games. Granted, they weren't perfect. I did hear people say that, well, I really don't like the campaign of Star Wars Battlefront 1, the original that came out in 2004, over Battlefront 2. But both of those are great games. It feels like EA was trying to emulate those titles, but they couldn't really reach that level of perfection. Like, you have so much shit going on. Obviously, more content from different eras, because the original Battlefront 1, it was marketed as just staying in a certain original timeline, you know, and you had all the other characters, all the shit. You had Grievous in the older games as well. EA's Battlefront just feels like a cheap skin on top of being like Battlefield and having fucking AT-ATs and all this shit, walk around and waiting for the heroic power-ups. I just miss the older ones. I hate the fucking cycling rifle, by the way, in the new Battlefront games. Oh my god, it was so terrible. I hate it.
I'll say this.
Haze, right?
Yeah, Free Radical made Haze, and we don't speak about Haze in this household.
Remember when people said Black was going to be the Halo killer?
Black could have been a Halo. Hang on, Black could have been a Halo killer if they put effort into it, but they didn't after the first game because they didn't make a sequel.
Speaking of which, that reminds me of some shit. Like, Criterion Games is also kind of dissolved right now, right? Remember they used to make like Burnout and Black and all that shit, and I think the problem with Black was that it was a great shooter, don't get me wrong, really fucking great, really focused on the gunplay and how everything looked authentic. It was really like gun porn in a sense, and they really captured that whole Hollywood visual style. But the problem with Black was that there is no replay value in that game. Once you finish the single player, that's it.
But no, by the way, I want to talk about this, like, Haze in the context of, if you spend a lot of time on 4chan, about a year before the game came out, there were fucking shill threads everywhere saying, like, oh, Halo's finally dead, fuck Halo. And then Haze came out, and everybody's suddenly really quiet about it.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was the best crow eating I've ever seen. I just had to mention that, because it was so fucking good. But yeah, no. Another EA related one that I want to talk about, Visceral Games.
I think everyone here would want Visceral to come back.
Well, to be fair, I want Visceral pre-Dead Space 3 to come back. I don't want after Dead Space 3.
Dead Space 3 was going to be a lot more ambitious until EA kept interfering.
Yeah, then they also made Army of Two of a Devil's Cartel. And I'd rather they didn't, you know? I'd rather they just didn't make that game.
Didn't Visceral make some James Bond-like games?
Yeah. Those were pretty fucking good. And also, they made, like, the Simpsons game? The 2000. Yeah, 2008.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Was it 2008?
2000, yeah, 2008 or 2007.
Pretty much on everything, like even the PSP.
Yeah, 2007. Yeah,
it's good.
That one
then, like, a
that wasn't too bad.
later, they made Dead Space, and that's like a tonal shift. That's like watching Mallrats and then going to like 15 minutes of the Human Centipede 2 or some shit.
They also did the mice. They also did the mice games.
No, that's another tone. That's like going from Paw Patrol to fucking Human Centipede 2.
Oh God.
I remember I had some experience with My Sims Kingdom of all things.
Why would you admit that?
Oh shit, they made Agent Under Fire? Okay.
Oh yeah. They made From Russia with Love as well.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, they made Everything or Nothing. So yeah, I can't really complain with that. Oh, Freak Style! That was a fun game.
Never played it.
I do particularly remember when Visceral Games, they were EA Redwood Shores, and they were making all these cool like experimentations. They also made some shit like who cares about Tiger Woods PGA Pro Tour golf? I don't know why they made that in particular, but their resume is like up and down. And one of the things I noticed is that they made the Godfather game that came out during the 6th gen. And I liked it. I really, really enjoyed it. Of course, the story is a giant liberty. It really is sort of the events of the first movie, but not really, because you have a created character and you go around and you extort people, shoot people. It's like a Grand Theft Auto clone. If you really like GTA, you would really like the Godfather game. I saw a recent review from someone on YouTube. He came up in my recommended, and they recently did a video on that, which I would highly recommend. I just forget his name.
Yeah, it's like Mini-Me or whatever his name was. I saw that.
Who made the Godfather 2?
I'm pretty sure it was EA Redwood Shores yet again.
Oh, well, that one wasn't good. It did so bad. It did so bad they never made one based on Part 3.
Luckily they didn't, because the Godfather 3 was all over the place. Well, at least you got to see Joey Zaza get fucked and shot, but you also got to see Sonny Corleone's son, illegitimate bastard son, go around and put his dick where it doesn't belong. So there you go. Godfather 3 in a nutshell, people. Godfather 3 in a nutshell.
True. Mainly because of Francis Ford Coppola's daughter's acting, but that's another story.
She's an okay director, but her fucking acting is awful.
Bane will fucking introduce himself to her with a pickup line equivalent to that scene where fucking the Joker defeats Batman in Injustice. And now, my flying face rodent, let's put a smile on that puss.
I mean, I'd tear it
is,
up, but still.
That's implied.
Remember when Visceral Games made Battlefield Hardline and they ate a complete fucking chew doing it? Trying to do Bad Boys, what you want, what you gonna do? Remember they tried to do that shit?
Rip.
Battlefield Hardline. That shouldn't be anybody's last game. It's Battlefield, but cops and robbers, and also I'd say it's better than 4, 5, and 1. I'd say that. It's not good, but it's better than those.
EA closing down fucking Visceral Games. Remember, like, they wanted to make this giant, expansive Star Wars game, and I think Visceral Games, they were the first in line to be the test dummies. Now we have Jedi Fallen Order. That's going to be a thing with Respawn Entertainment, so I'm kind of worried about the state of this. EA has tried so hard with the Star Wars license, and they have not produced any adequate results, in my opinion. Something top tier, a high echelon game that people will be playing for years and years and saying, hey, they finally did something great with this license. Because Battlefront games, that won't cut it. It's cool that Jedi Fallen Order is going to be single player, but I can't trust EA publisher practices. I think that they were stupid closing down Visceral Games for that reason alone, for this fabled Star Wars project, and their last game being ended off on such a downer, on such a bad note. It was Battlefield Hardline, man. It is really, really disappointing when you think about it. No Dead Space 4 is forever imprinted in my mind, and that's why EA sucks.
I mean, I'm excited for Fallen Order because, again, Respawn has not made a bad game so far. So, track record being good, I'm excited for it.
I think people really are casting Fallen Order aside when they heard about the whole fact that it's going to be equal to Dark Souls combat.
I mean, it makes sense with Star Wars. You've got a lightsaber, you want to fucking swing that shit, and Dark Souls combat is relatively both simple and can be deep if you put time into it. I don't think this is going to be like Lords of the Fallen with the combat. I think it's going to be good. But I'm interested to see if they're going to do, you know? Okay. So yeah, I think the most disappointing thing for me lately, and I know I'm going to be the only person ever saying this, I'm really fucking sad that Telltale Games got closed before Wolf Among Us.
Isn't Telltale like still somewhat alive or reformed as a new company? Skybound Games, I believe. I might have missed the memo on them. I don't know much about Skybound personally.
Well, no, Skybound Games has existed for a little while. That's Robert Kirkman's like part of his entertainment empire. So the guy who created The Walking Dead now has a fucking entertainment empire. But like Skybound Games has been around for a tiny bit. Like they published Slime Rancher, and then like about a few months after they were like opened, Telltale fucking closes, and they're like, shit, we may as well finish this. So they finished it, and I honestly, if they're smart, they need to pick up that fucking the rights for The Wolf Among Us and finish that.
I think Telltale's decline started with poor management. It's kind of a little bit of a similar situation that happened with Platinum Games. Like, they were on the verge of bankruptcy. Let's not kid ourselves. They said Nier Automata saved them from the deaths. So I think just whoring yourselves out and having all these tie-ins and doing all these games where it's hard to keep up, like Telltale did, you know, Game of Thrones, Back to the Future, Guardians of the Galaxy, that's another one. I think this ultimately led to scheduling conflicts and issues with licensing, because all this stuff costs money. They have to pay these property owners to use their IPs, and it ain't easy. The same can go for Platinum being rushed by a company to put out a project at a specific amount of time. This is one thing I liked about Spider-Man PS4. It wasn't tied to any movie. It wasn't tied to any particular comic. There are references, sure, but it's basically its own story. And I think that's good. The less you have deadlines with a franchise that's time, the better it is, because it eliminates the whole problem with licensed tie-ins being rushed products.
Yeah, but the worst thing with Platinum, what they did is they spread themselves so thin that eventually they got one of their games fucking canceled.
But yeah, but that's another story.
That's its own different thing. I love Platinum, but they spread themselves too thin. Telltale was trying, and I'll give them this. There were some games they had that were really good. Tales from a Borderlands is the best Borderlands thing since the first game. Which is kind of sad.
You could tell when they kicked fucking Anthony Birch off the team.
Well, you can also tell when he started writing a bit of the episode, because he wrote a little bit on like the third episode, and you can tell immediately when he does. It's like, okay.
Damn.
You go from a very serious scene to like somebody talking about feminism. It's like, Yep, Anthony Birch came on here for this one. In fact, yeah, you can tell exactly just when it's like, all right, I'm out.
Thank God that he's out. Thank goodness he got fired.
Yeah, speaking of a company that needs to go under, when the fuck is Gearbox gonna go under?
When are they gonna go under?
Yo, Gearbox is trash. Yo, Gearbox is a flaming pile of dicks. You know, that would be a great idea. What about a podcast centered around game studios that should go under? I call shotgun. EA, I'm gonna put you right in the passenger seat and careen you right off the fucking cliff. It's gonna be a beautiful, fucking momentous occasion of fire flames everywhere. I'm telling you, they should get rid of some of these companies that are just trash. You know, NRS is getting up there. It's getting right up there, Ed Boon, with your microtransaction crap that's in Mortal Kombat 11.
That's fair.
The next podcast, game companies that should shut down.
We need that one. It'll be me spending 2 hours talking about fucking Gearbox.
I thought you would say EA, but you know. And then all of a sudden someone's like, Take Two.
Oh shit.
With
Sorry.
monetizations.
You know one game I really want to come back? I'm gonna say this just straight up. I want 3D Realms to come back. I know they're still around, but I want them to come back properly.
Yeah.
I want them to have Duke Nukem back.
Aren't they working on like a new a new project?
I don't think so.
You know one thing I liked about 3D Realms? When they had games in development, I did like the tagline, when it's done, it's done, instead of getting broken, buggy piles of garbage.
The problem is, it's a good tagline, but the problem is that they took so damn long, and the head director of Duke Nukem kept updating the engine, like, oh, we got to do this, oh, we got to do this, something new in the industry happens, oh, we got to do this, oh, we got to do this, instead of sticking to the plan.
It was their obsession with keeping Duke Nukem up to date and on the newest engine that killed it.
See, the thing for most is, I mean, fuck, the original Prey, the only good one, that one took 11 years to make, and yeah, that one went from the PlayStation 1 to the like original Xbox, then to the 360 and PC. And again, it took them 11 years to make it. And then fucking they sell the rights to like Bethesda Softworks of all people. And then they make that Prey game that came out in like 2 years ago that everybody forgot.
Oh, Arcane, yeah. Arcane's Prey.
Yeah, I like Arcane, but that game was so forgettable. I finished it, and I genuinely could not remember what happened to it. That's a bad sign when you make a game like that. And
Yeah,
now they're
that's
making that new Wolfenstein game.
Yeah, I'm not too ecstatic about that one. Bring me quality that was similar to, which one was it? The New Order?
Yep. Instead, it's going to be a weird 80s version of the new Colossus.
So,
All right,
did
that's all I got.
everyone... Yeah, Sasuke, you're next.
Well, you got most of the ones that I wanted to say, but I guess I'll also say the Time Splitter devs. as
Free
well.
Radical?
Yeah, Free Radical.
Yeah.
I could add that to the list.
I don't think they're dead, just...
I
they
think
aren't doing
they're
shit.
in stasis.
They're
Yeah.
in stasis, okay.
Free Radical
yeah.
design.
But yeah, like Bain was saying about Pandemic, man, Mercenaries 2 was such a good game. I love that game to
Damn.
death.
Oh yeah, no, okay, so yeah, Free Radical is dead, and they went on to a new studio that made Homefront: The Revolution.
Well, we
Oh,
don't
shit.
talk about that.
Oh shit, I didn't know that Free Radical made Second Sight.
I thought they made Crisis.
No, they just worked on
that-
console ports.
Yeah,
Crytek.
Oh, okay.
Crytek did buy them for a little while.
I think Crytek's in stasis too.
Crytek's a fucking like walking shell of a corpse, pretty much.
But yeah,
Bring
like
them
how-
back to while.
But yeah, like Bane said before, Hayes fucking killed them.
Yeah, the PlayStation 3 was a very adorable time to be a studio. as long as you wanted to die immediately after you made a game for a fucking turd.
Damn.
Bring back Crytek as well.
I don't know, like I said, Sony is the type that will cut the fat as well with certain studios. That's why Zipper and who else? Gorilla Cambridge is now dead.
I'll throw a name out there that a lot of people probably forget about. 989 Studios.
But the next one is Bend.
I mean, Bend is still around, but yeah.
Yeah. But 989 Studios, the studio that made Cool Borders back in the day.
Didn't 989 make Twisted Metal 3 and 4?
Yeah, the shitty ones.
We don't talk about 3 and 4.
Yeah, the shitty ones.
Okay, off topic here. Does anybody else remember Twisted Metal Small Brawl?
I do.
Wasn't it like that kiddie game?
Yeah, well, it was. I wouldn't say it was like entirely kiddie, but it was more family friendly. It was still pretty good though.
It was the one with the remote control cars. It was actually made by Incognito Studios, or Incognito Entertainment. I'm sorry.
I think that used to be David Jaffe's studio.
He used to be with Single Track, but then I don't know where he went after that.
Incock was, I swear that name popped up during Twisted Metal Black as well.
Yeah, maybe.
So Jaffe was definitely either involved with it or part of it for a while.
Oh, he was actually the founder of the studio at May 1999.
Yep.
And successor was Eat, Sleep, Play, from my knowledge. So, yeah.
All I gotta say is Drawn to Death was trash. That's about it.
Don't talk about that either.
Whoever thought that was a good idea and whoever greenlit it and gave him money for that should have been fired.
It was PlayStation.
Is Evolution Studios still around?
Evolution Studios?
Actually, no. They are defunct. They made They were the people who made MotorStorm.
Oh, okay. I remember.
MotorStorm devs, and then eventually, I guess, Drive Club.
Oh.
Well, no wonder why they're defunct.
Yeah.
So yeah, rip them.
Wasn't Drive Club promised for free for the longest time?
I think so.
It was supposed to be free for PS Plus, and I don't think anybody wanted it.
I mean, why have Drive Club when you have Gran Turismo?
Drive Club is Gran Turismo Sport if Gran Turismo Sport had no content.
Damn.
Well, that's another game that Incognito worked on. Warhawk for the PS3.
Oh.
Warhawk being a thing. Same with Starhawk.
That was fun for a bit, to be honest. I downloaded a demo and I played a ton of matches in it, and it was pretty fun.
All right.
Yeah, to be fair, at least it wasn't Starhawk. That game was boring.
I'd say for a last couple studios, Psygnosis.
Never heard of them.
They made Wipeout on the PS1, Destruction Derby, Shadow of the Beast, Lemmings, Colony Wars. They made especially Wipeout 1. Like
Shadow of the Beast got a remake, right?
I don't know if it did or not.
It did, I think.
But I remember
that side scroller where the guy looks like an Aztec warrior or something?
But I remember playing Destruction Derby back in the day from these guys. I think they were a good studio back in the day. But,
all right, are you done, Sasuke? Because we got to get to Anthony.
Last one's big studios.
Who?
Big Studios.
Never heard of them. They made
Pursuit Force for the PSP. I guess they also worked on MotorStorm.
Never heard of them.
They made MotorStorm Arctic Edge.
Well, now they're in the Arctic Sea because they do not exist. No, I'm kidding.
Bites the dust though. But yeah. But that's all I got to say. I'll pass it over to Anthony here.
Really quick before you do, did anyone bring up THQ?
Yeah, I think Cryo did when he was here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brought up a little bit.
Okay, good, because the SmackDown versus Raw games were fucking hot fire.
Oh my god.
All right, Anthony, your turn.
The thing is, a lot of the, like, pretty sure like all the stuff I would have put it on a list would have been said by you guys anyway. Like Pandemic, Visceral, Free Radical, and like all the developers make great games and have made great games. I'd make an argument for not bringing back Silicon Knights though, but
I mean, that's agree to disagree in my opinion, but I'll respect that.
I guess if mine were to be so original, it would actually be old Sonic Team, honestly, because Sonic Team is still they're a developer that still exists now, but a lot of the people who made Sonic Team back in like the as they call the Dark Ages, quote unquote, actually are like those Dark Age games are much funner and much better to go back to than what we currently have now. Because it's also taking slower due to HD console, game development is taking slower, like, to make games, but at the same time, they're only making, Sonic Team is, like, currently will make, like, fucking 2 to 3 hour games, and back then we actually get, like, more, like, mediocre games with actual content and shit, so I kind of miss that part of them. And also, like, the fact that they only have, like, one level designer for Forces when there's, like one lead level designer and like 2 or 3 other level designers for Forces when they had so many for like other games and shit. Like and a lot of the staff that was old Sonic Team went on to work for Nintendo and shit. So I kind of, and a lot of the people they have now have only worked for like Mario and Sonic, and like a Mario and Sonic game, and that's about it. And they're like taking on lead director and shit. So I'm just like, yeah, I would like people who actually know their shit back into that team, I guess. But yeah, that's me being my original pick, but it's not very original at the same time, even since the dev still exists, but as a shell of its former self.
That seems like a lot of studios nowadays. They're just a shell of what they used to be honest, and which is really a shame whenever a lot of them made some good games.
I mean, for me, I feel like some devs are all right now. Like, a lot of the people that worked on, like, of course, Ratchet & Clank and Spyro, Ratchet & Clank and Jack and Sly Cooper have left those respective companies, but they're still, like, they're still around and they're still making all right games, while Sonic Team is just like, we make video game. We spend 1 year actually making the game, and then we'll spend the other 3 we're just working on concept art shit. Wow.
Oof.
All right, so are we done for today? Can we move to outros?
I think I'm good with that because I got some things to do.
All right,
pretty good. Gives me 20 minutes to get ready for work, so God.
Tony, since you're leaving soon, can you outro yourself, please?
Sure. YouTube.com/C/SonicCake, Twitter.com/SonicCake2, and that's Twitch.tv/SonicCake. Pretty simple.
All right. We're gonna outro all the other people, so you take care. Drillbit, how about you?
Well, you can just find me at Twitter at Drillbit777.
Otherwise, Drillbit steals your mom 777.
I don't know. Well, shut up, Slowpoke. Look, I'm not really active on anywhere else. I mean, I had a YouTube, but I don't upload anymore. That's really the one place I'm active on. Who knows? Maybe I'll try something new on YouTube someday.
Bane?
Oh, you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/FUZHOU. Twitter at Bane for you with a YU at the end instead of a YOU. And wherever home products are sold. There we go.
And wherever Pro Jared's ex-wife is.
God damn it.
Not yet. Soon. Soon.
Alright, so you can find me on YouTube at Renegade Operative. You can find me on Twitter at Ren_Operative. No, it's Ren_Operative_. I always get that wrong for some reason. You can find me on Twitch at renegade_operative, and I will probably be uploading this on the IAS channel and just doing random shit. So
Also on Pornhub under Renegade Operative.
I'll get the fuck out of here. I'm not on there. Let's do wildin'. Anyway, we will see you guys later. Next thing we're doing, I think we're just playing a lot of games and crap. So, oh, we gotta talk about the original Xbox next month before E3.
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
So this is the IAS podcast. We're signing out. See you guys later.
See ya.
Take it easy.
Don't give out dick pics.
Yeah.